Formula One fans are tearing their hair out over a second agonizing 3-week break in the season. It feels like an eternity since we last heard the roar of engines on the track. This 3-week pause has come at the worst possible time, stalling the championship's momentum just as it was heating up. The schedule is a disaster, draining all the excitement from a title fight. With nothing but radio silence on the track, the wait has become a cruel tease, leaving everyone desperate for the US Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. Next week's showdown promises to be even more intense, with the FIA rolling out tough new crackdowns and rules to eliminate any traces of cheating from the previous season. All eyes will be on 2024 US Grand Prix, which could go down as one of the most closely monitored and tightly regulated races in recent memory. Last year's race at the US Grand Prix was pure chaos. Track limit violations became a significant issue due to the competitive nature of the race and the potential for gaining time in key areas like turns 9 and 10. Drivers pushed the limits to maintain positions, especially in tight battles, where even a few tenths of a second could make a difference. The Circuit of the Americas design, with fast sweeping corners and significant runoff areas, made it easier for drivers to exploit the track boundaries without immediate penalties. This, combined with inconsistent enforcement, led to numerous transgressions throughout the weekend. The problem grew so serious that Haas even filed for a right of review, claiming numerous breaches by competitors that went unpunished. Although the FIA stewards eventually rejected Haas's protest, video footage showed drivers frequently straying off track, particularly at turn 6. This sparked complaints from other teams who criticised the lack of enforcement. Ultimately, the FIA admitted there was clear onboard footage showing track limits violations. They claimed the external monitoring of certain corners wasn't reliable enough to make accurate judgments. The problem with track limits isn't new. It's been popping up across several circuits for years. Finally, many track owners seem to have taken the hint that the best deterrent is to ensure there are real consequences for going off track. Give drivers a safe runoff area and they'll push the boundaries. Put a gravel trap or a grassy verge there and they'll steer well clear, just like fans have been saying all along. To make matters worse, both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were disqualified after their cars failed post-race technical inspections. The issue was excessive wear on the plank beneath the cars, which did not meet the minimum thickness requirements set by the FIA. Hamilton initially finished second, while Leclerc secured 6th place, but both results were nullified due to this breach of the regulations. This time around, Red Bull is rolling in with a major upgrade package, aiming to swing the championship momentum in their favour. But there's a twist. The track has undergone some serious changes ahead of this year's showdown. Will these alterations catch the teams off guard and shake things up? The Circuit of the Americas has undergone several significant changes for the 2024 US Grand Prix, aimed at improving racing conditions and addressing past issues. One of the primary updates is the resurfacing of the front stretch, a project involving over 18,000 tons of asphalt. This comes after heavy criticism in recent years due to the track's notorious bumps, with some drivers likening it to a rally course. The resurfacing is expected to provide a smoother ride and improve lap times, though the location's high plasticity clay base remains an ongoing challenge for the circuit. To tackle track limit violations that plagued previous races, new measures have been introduced. Several corners, including turns 6, 13, 14 and 15, now feature grass runoffs to deter drivers from exploiting the limits. A unique fake gravel trap has been added at turn 11, using a resin-bound gravel material designed to be safer than traditional gravel, while still discouraging track excursions. Additionally, the organisers have bolstered the FIA's efforts to clamp down on track limits violations by installing extra cameras in strategic positions to catch any cars straying over the line. This should help ensure fair play and avoid a repeat of last year's controversies. Austin race promoter Bobby Epstein explained, "We mainly did it to get rid of the bumps. After 12 years, it was time for an upgrade. Max didn't have the kindest words for the track last year, so we're hoping this time it's a whole different story." Verstappen had quipped that the track felt more suited to rally cars than F1 machines, so there's a lot riding on this resurfacing. While it should reduce the bouncing, it isn't a long-term fix for the circuit's deeper issues. The root of the problem lies in the subsidence around a tunnel under turn 1, which provides paddock access. The resurfacing may mask the bumps for a while, but it's only a temporary bandage for a condition that runs much deeper. COTA hosts a variety of racing series, including MotoGP, which has different needs when it comes to runoff areas. According to Bobby Epstein, it's tricky because what works for MotoGP might not work for F1. One might need gravel where the other doesn't, and you can't just switch it back and forth. You've got clay under the track, and that kind of change isn't easy to make watertight. Balancing the demands of multiple motorsports adds another layer of complexity to keeping the track in top shape. Resurfacing any F1 track is a big deal because teams rely on years of data to predict grip levels and tyre wear. When the asphalt is redone, that data gets tossed aside, forcing everyone to start from scratch. At COTA this year, teams will be walking into the unknown, and with just 1 hour of practice before the sprint race, there's little time to figure out the right setup. It could set the stage for some surprises when the cars line up for Saturday's sprint. This isn't unfamiliar territory for the teams though. Earlier this season at the Chinese Grand Prix, they encountered a similarly unpredictable scenario. When they arrived in Shanghai, the track looked like it had been freshly painted, leaving drivers and engineers scratching their heads. The unexpected grip levels were caused by a liquid bitumen treatment applied to the aging asphalt, catching even the most prepared teams off guard, despite extensive simulator work and data from Pirelli and the FIA. Normally, Pirelli's engineers would be dispatched well ahead of a Grand Prix to gather valuable data about the track's condition. However, for the Chinese Grand Prix, there was a glaring absence of this preparation due to a scheduling conflict, and the organisers didn't inform the FIA about the changes made to the surface. All eyes will be on Lando Norris and Max Verstappen as the fight for the Drivers' Championship resumes. Sure, Norris has a daunting 52-point gap to make up if he wants to catch Verstappen, but he and McLaren aren't about to wave the white flag just yet. Verstappen's unexpected success in Singapore last time out certainly strengthened his grip on the title, especially after Daniel Ricciardo snatched away the fastest lap point from Norris, leaving McLaren boss Zak Brown fuming. At this stage, if Verstappen manages to outscore Norris at any upcoming race, it could very well spell the end of the championship chase. Lando Norris does have some cards up his sleeve as the season approaches its climax, with 3 sprint races still to come, giving him extra chances to close the gap on Max Verstappen. While COTA was one of the rare circuits where Red Bull faced challenges last season, they still managed to clinch both the sprint and the main race. Verstappen dealt with a brake issue that let Lewis Hamilton reel him in during the final laps, but the catch never came, and Hamilton's effort ended in a disqualification for excessive plank wear. Hopefully, the latest updates will address last year's bouncing woes and tighten up track limits, letting us focus solely on the racing action. With the championship battle heating up, these changes could shake things up just enough to deliver some unexpected twists. Are you ready to get back to some high-speed drama next weekend? How have you been coping with this seemingly endless break? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to share your predictions for next weekend. Until then, goodbye for now.